Today, the Committee on Federal Lands will consider historic first-of-its-kind legislation to improve access to our public lands and transform recreational experiences for Americans across the country. Throughout the year, the subcommittee has considered numerous pieces of bipartisan legislation that would help bolster the $1.1 trillion outdoor recreation economy. The legislation before us today, the Explore Act, is the culmination of these efforts. Whether you are a hunter, fisher, rock climber, target shooter, paddler, or adventurer, there is something in this legislation for you. That's because the central theme of the Explore Act is improving access for the hundreds of millions of people who recreate on our public lands annually across the country. The Explore Act expands access not by spending millions of dollars or creating complex new programs, but by reducing red tape and cutting bureaucracy. Title III of the bill, which is based on the Simplifying Outdoor Access for Recreation Act, or SOAR, would make it less cumbersome and expensive for guides and outfitters to get special recreation permits to use our federal lands. This issue is personal to me. For 20 years, I owned and operated a dinner and excursion business called Wilderness Cruises in Wisconsin. I know what it's like to lead a small business that depends on reliable access to public lands. Guides and outfitters across the country are experienced, knowledgeable professionals who provide safe and affordable excursions for millions of visitors. Whether it's whitewater rafting or horseback riding, our nation's guides and outfitters will all benefit from streamlined, simplified permitting process. This legislation also addresses specific access barriers that certain groups face that make it difficult to fully enjoy or experience our public lands. In particular, this bill contains targeted provisions to tackle many of the barriers that prevent members of our military, veterans, people with disabilities, and young people from fully accessing our public lands. The legislation does this by building new accessible trails, directing land managers to prioritize recreational visits among our military service members, and reauthorizing the successful Every Kid Outdoors program. By creating this new access, we will help not only the overall outdoor recreation economy, but rural and local economies as well. Last year, visitors to national parks generated a record high $50 billion in economic benefits and supported over 378,000 jobs in and around gateway communities. The Explore Act would help address some of the most pressing issues facing our gateway communities, including lack of affordable housing, dilapidated infrastructure, antiquated technologies. This will not only help the residents of these communities, but also improve visitor experiences broadly. I look forward to seeing the benefits this legislation will bring to communities near the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore in my district, as well as communities across the country. I'd like to thank Chairman Westerman and Ranking Member Grijalva for their work on this bipartisan and bicameral legislation. I look forward to hearing the testimony from our panel of witnesses and thank them each for joining us today.